Been taking you around the world. Now, you know what I want to do? I want to give you some perspective on all of this. Here's how we're going to do this. Just a few short weeks ago, the world that we lived in was a very different place. There were wars and talk of wars, economic aggressions, military exercises. In fact, just to name a few, here's some of the stories that we were covering right here on our air. Trade war between the United States and China, which has been the Trump administration's bully pulpit, right? NATO exercises, which are supposedly to stop any imminent attack from Russia. Suddenly they're canceled. Is Russia not going to attack? Venezuela, where the war of words, the sanctions, now even charges against the president there continue despite the coronavirus. So here's the question, right? Here's the question I want you guys to think about. Will this crisis that we're all going through right now, will it bring us closer together, people to people, nation to nation? Or is it going to divide us even further? Joining us now to discuss this, none other than George Galloway, kind of a big thinker, former MP, RT international analyst. George, what say you?
Well, it could be either, and it could be both, to be perfectly frank, Rick. There will be vociferous tendencies accentuated, heated up. There will be nationalism, and there will be a wish amongst some people to withdraw into our own little world. But John Donne, you know, centuries ago, coined beautifully the truth that no man is an island entire unto himself. And he said, don't seek to know for whom the bell tolls for all of us. And that surely is the big lesson here. In a world like ours, where people move around with such alacrity and in such numbers, you cannot confine your little patch of God's green earth and quarantine it from the rest. That is impossible in political, economic, and in every other sense, certainly the sense of health and well-being. So my guess is that what will prevail is a sense of internationalism rather than nationalism, though there will be people beating that teenage drum, Rick.
I must say, if it was between George and Rick, or George's family and Rick's family, or my friends here, or my friends in the UK, or my friends anywhere in the world, I would feel confident in what you just said. But when it comes to politicians and international leaders, presidents and prime ministers, I don't trust those SOBs. Do you?
Well, I agree with what you said earlier. It's wise not to trust any government, though some governments are more trustworthy than others.
Yeah.
But I trust the people, Rick. And I think there is a critical mass of public opinion now coming into view, or soon will be in view, but it's now forming, that will change those politicians, force them to change.
George,
I'm confident about that, optimistic always.
George Galloway, glass half full.
All right, shalom. This is Khanak Sha'an by Yasharala from the Lions in the Yasharala camp. First and foremost, I'd like to say Kal Halayim La Yahweh, Ba Hashem Yahweh Shai, Ba Hashem Harakakwadash Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles of the Great Millstone, and salutation to the archon that are pushing this truth and sincerity and truth, and peace and blessing to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right. All right. So that clip that I played, I tried to get another clip that was an extension of that clip that had another part that kind of explains what I'm about to go into, what I'm dealing with. But what I'm dealing with is the division that's being caused, the separation that's being brought forth on the whole earth. All right. So what they were talking about on that news conference thingy, they were talking about how the coronavirus, while other countries are helping other countries, is bringing people together. And then when Bush made a statement, not Bush, but Trump made a statement earlier this week saying that Saudi Arabia, that Iran has planning a sneak attack in the midst of all this on American troops in Saudi Arabia, I think it is, which it caused once the thought of we are the world, we are the people, children type vibe, and it threw a monkey wrench into all that. And that's the doing of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, creating separation. No matter though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished, man. And we're watching the punishment of the wicked unfold with these pandemics that's coming about, which I think what's been said by, this camp plenty of times, that there might be a coronavirus out there, but what's making the people sick and killing the people is radiation from these 5G towers. But that's a whole totally different topic. But what's happening is you're seeing division amongst the nations, especially with China and the United States once again, from the economical warfare to biochemical warfare, dealing with this coronavirus, Slaki. Now, so that separation and division is being brought forth by Yahweh Shem Yahushai, all right? And that's what he said he's coming to do, coming to create division when he comes to earth, And we're witnessing it right now as we speak with all these, with all these things that are going on in the world, all right? I'm going to get a couple scriptures talking about it. I'm not going to make it that long. I'm going to make it short and sweet. Lord willing, it's edifying and serves its purpose, all right? So here we go. This is Matthew chapter 12, verse 25, and it says, and Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And you're seeing division with everybody, with the separation of social distancing. People are afraid to greet each other with a handshake or a hug nowadays because of this whole pandemic of COVID-19. So it's creating a source of anxiety for people who didn't have anxiety in the beginning, and making people worse that had anxiety issues before this whole pandemic started, right? So the Lord is bringing forth this division, right, to bring down this kingdom. Verse 26, it says, and if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall his kingdom stand? Right. So they're trying to put together this new war order. So you got America pointing the finger at Russia, Russia pointing the finger at America. All these nations are wicked, and they're standing together, divided with their own philosophies, their own thoughts, their own ways, and it's creating confusion within all of them. They're not going to come to an agreement. So what's going to happen ultimately is war. And Yahweh Shem Yahushai is mustering up the hosts for the battle for the war of Armageddon. Armageddon, which means mountain of troops, over there in the valley of Kidron. All right, it's spoken in the book of Joel. All right, verse 26 again, it says, and if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? Right, so you're seeing the division of the wicked, right? You have the righteous on one side and the wicked on the other. 2/3 of our people fall into that wicked category, and if they don't stand together, but you have the 1/3 of Israel and the 144,000 that believe in the name of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, they stand together in the name of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, while the rest of the world stands divided, and that division is coming from Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay. All right. Let me get Luke. Chapter 12, verse 51, it says, suppose ye that I come to give peace on earth? I tell you, nay, but rather division. Right. So that's what that's the spirit that Yahweh Shem Yahushai is bringing, separation. He's separating the sheep from his goat. All right. And he's separating within Israel too, the elect from the 2/3. All right. It says, for henceforth there shall be 5 in one house divided, 3 against 2, and 2 against 3. And that's the division, all right, straight division that the Lord's bringing down on this earth to bring judgment, all right? So then recently, what did you also have? You had the Brexit that happened late last year. Well, it happened 2 years ago. It started 2 years ago, and they finally came with a conclusion last year, but it won't be implemented for another 5 or 6 months, for where you start seeing the effects of the Brexit. And you have division within that, because you had certain parts of Scotland that wanted to remain part of the EU, all right, and didn't want to exit. And I think it was Northern Scotland or Northern Ireland, one of those that wanted to remain part of the European Union because of their families. And it was for tax reasons and for family purposes that they wanted to remain together. But Yahweh Shem Yahushai is creating that division, man. All right. As a matter of fact, let me go to because the Brexit is spoken about in the book of Daniel. All right. Let me get this real quick. It's Daniel chapter 2. I'm going to start at 31. It says, Thou, O kings, sawest and behold a great image. This great image whose breadth, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. All right, so that image was the statue of Nebuchadnezzar, and we're right now we're to the feet of it, and the Lord said He's going to take him by the feet. Right, this image head was of fine gold. All right, now gold represented Babylon. His breasts and arms of silver. Right, and the silver represents the Persians and the Medes. Okay, his belly and his thighs like brass. All right, and the brass is the Roman Empire, and it says his legs of iron, and iron represents Rome. All right, and his feet part iron and part clay, and there goes your European Union with your Brexit right there. All right, so the Brexit. All right, verse 35 said, "Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver." All right, no, I skip the verse. Shlaki. Verse 34, thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet, and that stone is Yahweh Shai, that were of the iron and of clay, and broke it them to pieces. Now you're witnessing the iron, like iron and clay don't really mix, right? But you're seeing it being broken to pieces by the spirit of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right. It said, then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together and became like chaff of the summer threshing floors, and the winds carried them away, that there was no place found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. And that's us filling the kingdom, right? Bringing Israel back into the kingdom after Yahweh Shai takes this statue down by the feet. And that the feet is the support of it. All right, they shall bruise the head, or roughly paraphrasing. But the feet is the support of somebody. You know, without your feet, you can't stand. So Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is causing division at the feet of this thing, which is going to destroy the whole statue, because it all started with Babylon, all the way down to the end with America, or with Rome, but you know, America, Rome and the European Union and NATO. All right. Let me get Amos chapter 9. Slack it. All right. This is Amos chapter 9, verse 8. It says, Behold, the eyes of the Lord Yahweh are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from out the face of the earth, saving, I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord. For lo, I will command, and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like as corn is sifted in a sieve. Right. So the Lord is doing his own division, not only with the wicked, but with the righteous also. All right. He's doing a division within the house of Israel. All right, separating the elect from the 2/3. Okay, so there's all sorts of separation and division going on. What side are you on? All right. You'd rather be on the side of those that fear Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. All right. It says, verse 10, it says, all the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. All right. We had a situation last week at camp where he had an individual scoffing against us for that same purpose, saying nothing was going to happen. All the sinners of Shlaki, in that day will I rise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen and close up the breaches thereof. All right. So that's him rising up the elect. All right. And sealing the way of truth. Okay. And I will build it as in the days of old. All right. And that's what you're witnessing happen right now. Okay. Let me get a couple more scriptures real quick and I can close it out. This is 2 Corinthians. All right, 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14, it says, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion had light with darkness? So that's why the Lord's creating that separation, because the ones that are righteous are not going to receive the reward of the wicked. So if you're tied in close with them during the time of his destruction, during the time of his judgment, you know, he has to make sure you're separated from that so you won't be partakers of what the judgment that's coming to the wicked. It says, verse 15, it says, what concord has Yahushua with Baali, which is the devil? Or what part hath he that believeth with an infidel? And what agreement hath the temple of Yahweh with idols? For ye are the temple of the living power, as Yahweh has said, I will dwell in them, and they will walk in them, and I will be their power, and they shall be my people. So with that being said, we have to separate ourselves from that which is unholy. All right. Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith Yahweh, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. So once we show that separation, accept the separation that the Lord is placing upon the elect, right? Take hold of that, man. Because the separation is for a reason. No matter how, you know what I'm saying? When people turn their back on you, it's a reason why the Lord wants you separated from everybody else. That's why he separated America from everybody else, because America's going to receive the most judgment on this earth, man. So he has to separate America. That's why America was separated over here from the time of Genesis with the flood with Pangea in the first place. It was set up for the same very purpose. The Most High set everything up perfectly, man. All right. All right, I'm going to end it with this. It's separating the sheep from the goat. This is Matthew 25 and 31. It says, when the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and he and the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. Before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goat. All right? And that's just it. All right, separating like shepherd separates the sheep from the goat, man. So the goats are the other nation, and 2/3 of our nation, and the sheep are the elect. All right, Kahalayim la Yahweh by Shem Yahushai, man. All right, and he shall set the sheep on his right hand and the goats on his left. All right, and that's just it. So the sheep shall be set on the right hand and the goats on his left, because the goats are wicked, you know, and the sheep are righteous. All right. So basically, he's separating the left-hand side to be burnt in the fire to partake in that second death, all right? And putting the sheep, the goats on the left-hand side to partake in the second death, which is his missiles, and the sheep on the right-hand side to partake in salvation, which would be the hopeful elect. With that being said, I hope this was edifying to serve its purpose. Like I say, Kal Halayim La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Harakak Dash Ma'amath. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations to the Akim that are pushing the truth and sincerity and truth, and peace and blessing to the men, women, and children. I believe in the name of Yahweh by Shem Yahushai. Shalom.